Arena, Carolina Coliseum, jam-packed tonight for the LSU Tigers and the South Carolina Gamecocks. LSU 7-3 in the SEC West. The Gamecocks trying to make a move. They are 2-7 in the SEC's Eastern Division. Our starting lineups look this way. The guards, the focal point, Brandon and Williamson. Brandon, normally a two-guard, will operate at the point. Williamson, a true two-guard. And they plan to step up the tempo with these guys back there. O'Neal in the middle with Singleton and Caesar. Caesar certainly has played well as a freshman for that man. Dale Brown, winningest coach in LSU history, now in his 20th season, one of only 15 coaches in America to coach at one institution for 20 or more seasons. South Carolina looks this way, a makeshift lineup, a MASH unit lineup, as Larry Conley earlier mentioned. Troy McCoy, Chris Lesso, Jeff Rolston in the middle, who had a tremendous second half in Fayetteville on Saturday. Manning and English will be in the backcourt for the Gamecocks. Manning has been experiencing some migraines in the past week. That man has had a few headaches himself.
Yeah, he really has. This is a South Carolina team looking for a win. I tell you what, talking about looking for a win, LSU needs one desperately right now. Arkansas losing last night may give them some motivation, Tim.
There's no question, but they face tonight what Arkansas and Kentucky always face in this league, a Final Four environment on the road in the SEC. The LSU Tigers and the South Carolina Gamecocks about to get underway at Frank McGuire Arena in Columbia, South Carolina. Tim Brando, Larry Conley, happy to have you with us. Our officials tonight, in the center of your screen is Wally Tanner. He is our referee. Sam Croft to his left, Gary Markham to his right. Gary out of Nashville, Sam from nearby Greensboro, North Carolina, and Wally from Jacksonville, Florida. And the focal point for all of the fans every time he shows up, Shaquille O'Neal. He is the headline in every SEC city the day he plays on the road.
You know, Tim, you made mention of this in the open, but this game was the first sellout for South Carolina in the basketball season this year. The students all want to turn out to watch this big guy play. He's a great attraction.
The last time these two played, it was Dale Brown's third year. He played in the Carolina Classic in December of 1974. Frank McGuire was then the coach, the man that brought basketball to the Palmetto State. Gamecocks won that night.
It's going to be interesting to see how Jeff Rulston handles Shaquille O'Neal tonight.
The opening tap controlled by O'Neal, and Jamie Brandon will operate at the point for the Tigers. Williamson for three. Raised the front iron. Ralston clears it for South Carolina.
LSU's going to open up in a man-to-man defense. JoJo English is the main man they have to stop, and right now Mo Williamson has that assignment.
JoJo comes up empty from three-point range. Out of bounds, control to the Tigers.
Pretty good hustle over there by Troy McCoy. He almost came up with one. He did come up with a Coke all over his leg.
Not a lot of room over there with the photographers that are on hand for tonight's game. A tremendous press contingent. Many of them from ACC territory that have ventured down to take a look at O'Neal.
South Carolina using that packed-in zone. Boy, how many times have we seen that this year against LSU?
How many times has Shaq had to deal with it?
And again, they get that bunch back inside. Even more so, I think, than Vanderbilt was in Nashville on Saturday.
Brandon for three. Long rebound, control to Williamson, fouled by JoJo English.
I'm not sure it was whether he or McCoy. McCoy might have gotten him too.
They do credit Troy McCoy with the reach in. Nice call, Conley. You're all over it tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, having been an ex-official, I refereed 5 games one time, a long time ago. Swore I'd never do it again. Hard job.
Brandon puts it in. I'm sure dear old dad had something to do with that. Tremendous official, your father.
Yeah, he was a good one. LSU stays in that man-to-man defense. Good back cut that time. Good job by Brandon to stay with him.
There's a high lob to Lesso. Maurice Williamson with the reach picks up his first personal. This guy is an enigma, Larry. Maurice Williamson.
Take a look at it again. Here's a good pass by Rulston, a good lob pass right over the top there of Caesar Singleton. Singleton from the backside of Williamson tried to give some help underneath and got him on the arm.
One of the most prolific scorers in Connecticut high school basketball. And while he does pick up the pace defensively, he makes some terrible decisions offensively that really hurts this Tiger team. In the Vanderbilt game, it was the press that gave Dale Brown a chance to win, and Maurice Williamson earned the starting role by virtue of the job he did early in the second half of that game in Nashville.
Yeah, he and Caesar did a terrific job in that press to get him back in the game. And again, South Carolina goes to that zone, and they bring O'Neal out up top.
By the way, Maurice's dad, Super John Williamson of New Jersey Nets fame, is here tonight. He has been experiencing some health difficulties himself, has been receiving dialysis 3 or 4 times, but made the trip down from the Hartford, Connecticut area to watch his son this evening. We wish him well.
It's Lesso again down inside. He's got English. South Carolina be very patient with this basketball. They're not wanting to get in any kind of running game with LSU. Look at Lesso set the screen for Watson. He didn't use it. Oh, great fake by English. Look at the pass. And the block. Oh.
Shaq said, get it out of here. Jamie Brandon, and that's the problem. LSU's guards du jour. That time he took it into the lane, out of control, turned it over.
Well, and he really pushed it too far. If he'd have pulled up a little bit sooner, he had some open people underneath.
In defense of Jamie Brandon, he's not naturally a point guard. Dale Brown is doing his best to keep him pumped up about having to play that position. His instincts are to score. There's a turnover by Ralston. He took steps.
You know, just the threat of having Shaquille O'Neal in back of you when you got the basketball is enough to intimidate you. Even as he turned to go, he had no chance on this. Look at O'Neal get up for that block. His second one already.
So far, the Gamecocks with the tempo they would like, and Caesar sets out a 3.
Was he got a patented line drive shot from that corner? I mean, that's a frozen rope coming from over there.
He hit 4 in a row against Vanderbilt, and then in the last 2 minutes missed 3 in a row in Nashville. Streaky shooter from the wing area.
South Carolina with a packed offense down inside.
Troy McCoy with the pull-up. Caesar got him with a hand.
And again, it makes it very difficult when you've got a guy the size of O'Neal in there. Even when you penetrate, you know you can just take it so far. Then you've got to either kick it to the corner or get it back out and restart the offense because his threat, his presence is always there.
Troy McCoy at the line.
Troy McCoy fan club in back of
Steve Newton, who had a tremendous career at Murray State, got the job extremely late in the recruiting process. Well over 50 candidates came down to take a look at this job. But Newton with the opportunity of a lifetime coaching in this league, and Burnell Singleton knocks it in. 7-3, Tigers by 4.
And again, the stack offense down inside by South Carolina. They'll pop somebody to the wing and then look inside.
English. Oh, is that sweet?
Tremendous move. Got a nice little turn. And with his size and his jumping ability, he gets up over most guards. He had a pretty good woofing contest with Todd Day the other night.
Yeah, he sure did. And he was playing with a fever in that game. He had been in the hospital getting an IV on Friday night in Fayetteville. Caesar. Singleton, boy, look at him keeping alive. The unsung star of this Tiger team. And through this 3-game skid, Larry, he's been the one constant.
No decision now about to be made by the officials about which way it's going to go. Still going to go for LSU. Wally Tanner and Sam Croft having a little discussion right there.
Steve Newton a little upset with that overrule. Oh, nice dump down from O'Neal to Jamie Brandon, but Lesso is there to help. Caesar again.
Now that was a smart move by Brandon. That was a good decision. He had nowhere to go with the basketball, and he got the ball to Caesar in the corner. We got a foul underneath.
Yep. Caesar got it. Got that chicken wing there.
Take a look at it again right here. Oh, no, it's O'Neal.
Yeah, it sure was. Dale Brown is looking for an explanation, but Dale does not have the benefit of the television monitor we have in front of us. We've played over 4 minutes. The Tigers have a 5-point lead, and we'll be back right after this word from Pepsi.
Okay, C1. Section G, like yours. Row G.
Shaquille O'Neal picking up the foul with the flagrant elbow. What appeared to be a flagrant elbow. Dale Brown was getting a quick explanation for it. Coming down with that rebound.
Let's take a look at it again now. Right here, Rulston's got him locked up arm in arm, and O'Neal wants nothing to do with that. He says, get away from me, and he throws him off. Good call.
(10-5) Tigers with the lead, and from the floor, LSU had better than 50%. 4 for 7. South Carolina only launching 3 times.
Tigers defense much better in this particular game, at least the start of it, than what I saw in Nashville on Saturday.
Jamie Watson. We've been waiting for this sophomore's coming out party all year. Tiger lead is 3.
Good save by O'Neal. Brandon's got the shot, and he's passing it up. A little penetration right there, Tim. There it is.
Into the lane. Oh, the hang time is evident.
What, did he want a defender? I mean, he waited till he got there.
This is an extraordinary talent, and you know, you root for these LSU guards because they've really had to deal with a lot of negative publicity throughout the course of the year, and they just do not have the pure point guy. But they're making the most of what they have, which are a lot of true off guards. And there's Caesar with a steal. He had 5 the other day in Nashville.
I'll tell you what, you talk about a guy that is all over the basketball. Great anticipation. I don't know that I've seen a guy come around in this league in a long time that has better anticipation on where the ball's going to be passed than Clarence Caesar. He almost got another one.
McCoy high off the window, and Maurice Williamson takes it down. Tigers with a 4-on-2.
Nice decision.
Brandon trying to get it to O'Neal. Turned it over. McCoy stripped by Caesar. Good defensive work by the freshman from Iowa, Louisiana.
Telling the guy is unbelievable at steals. He is able to come up with a lot of loose balls. He's all over this basketball. Now watch from the backside. He's on the baseline chasing. Look at this move from behind. Right off the leg. Oh, that's a terrific defensive play.
You know, there are times he reminds you defensively of Stacey Augmon. That may be one of those times.
Same type player. Very similar.
Angular youngster.
See, McCoy's not even, Watson's not even challenging Brandon out top, and he's got the shot from there. I think Jamie's got to take that shot. Now kick to the left. He's got his man in the corner.
Williamson with the long rebound, and he lost it out of bounds. It'll be controlled to LSU. Right now, the Tigers getting it done at South Carolina's tempo.
South Carolina would much rather play that slow tempo, but LSU seems to be somewhat patient in their own game plan here tonight.
Oh, O'Neal with a touch pass to Jamie Brandon. That was a beautiful move by the big guy.
You sort of get the feeling O'Neal's out here just contributing tonight, not looking to score. He's made a couple of real nice passes. I'm not sure we've gotten a rebound. We've gotten a couple of blocked shots from him already.
Lesso picked up that foul.
For LSU, Jamie Brandon has 2 shots.
As we mentioned at the outset of the telecast, O'Neal spent some time in the hospital last night in Charlotte. LSU had troubles getting here. You know, it seems that Dale Brown's team plays its best on the road when they have difficulty with their travel. There you see Shaq. He was winded during the warm-up. You could tell he was gasping for breath.
Yeah, I asked him during the warm-ups. I said, how are you feeling? He says, oh, okay. Just kinda, you know how you make that hand rotation? Oh, maybe I'm okay, maybe I'm not. So far, so good for him.
Barry Manning has joined JoJo English in the Gamecock backcourt.
Nice pass by English
to Watson, and Jamie will follow it. Jamie Watson has 4. The Tiger lead is 6. Singleton drives baseline, uses the glass.
He's having another good ball game. He had a great game in Nashville the other day. I was somewhat critical of him by not taking more shots in that second half. I think when O'Neal got the ball to him at the top of that circle or just off on the elbow, he had some open shots he passed up. He should have taken.
English pops out over Brandon. O'Neal clears it.
Running the break.
Williamson draws the foul from Jamie Watson. Wave off the basket.
I don't think Steve Newton's very happy with Ralston's performance on that particular rebound. He let O'Neal go up and get it, and he had the inside position.
He's going to make a change down in the low blocks.
Watch it again right here. And here comes Williamson from the left side. Watson just bangs him. He has no chance to come in and get him. Let's go back and take a look at that rebound earlier. This is the reason Ralston went to the bench right here, because O'Neal went up, got a clean rebound, and Ralston's looking for a foul. Says, forget it. We're going the other way. O'Neal running the break. Nice pass.
Shaq to Singleton for the deuce.
I think he wants to lead LSU in assists tonight. He leads them in everything else.
6 points for Vernell. 19-9. Tigers with their largest lead. Almost 8 minutes deep from Columbia, South Carolina.
Tigers will stay with that man-to-man defense. Good pressure on the ball.
English.
He's going to get 3.
Yeah, see, Maurice Williamson commits a foul you just should not commit, and Dale Brown will talk to him about it.
There's a discussion right there. He does it in such a quiet way. And a lot of coaches will be right in your face, right in your ear. Coach Dale Brown, being very quiet, lecturing.
Craig Carse, who helps him so much on the defensive side, one of his able assistants, also chatting with Maurice Williamson. That's one of the nice things about Coach Brown. You hear so much about the positive reinforcement that he brings. The more his players are attacked by outside interests, namely the media, the more positive about them he becomes. And they rally around him usually in the month of February.
It's very defensive for his players. He is always on the side of his players.
If you talk to any one of the players that once played for him, past LSU guys, they'll always tell you, well, you love playing for him. It's one of the great testimonies to any coach at any level.
And he's had a few good ones flow through there, too, I might add.
He sure has. Bojan Popovic coming into the game now, and JoJo English will get a brief blow for South Carolina. Gamecocks down 8 with under 12 minutes to play in the first half. Singleton draws some double teaming there along the low blocks. Williamson spinning and finding O'Neal.
He tried the lob pass and missed it. There's a warning there to LSU. Leave the basketball alone. Now, the next time it happens, it's a technical foul.
Shaquille gets his first basket, and he does it in typical Shaquille O'Neal form. Pretty nice idea by Mo Williamson. We'll be back.
Gatorade, the official sports beverage of the Gamecocks. I want to remind the USC Carolina Scholar athletes, with there's 3 minutes left to go in the half, please all come to the Elephant Room ramp. With 3 minutes left to go in the half, the Scholar athletes and coaches.
Coming up this Saturday, JP Sports will bring you a couple of great games over the weekend, but on Saturday, I'll be with Derek Dickey in Fayetteville for Alabama and Arkansas. And on Sunday, Larry Conley will join up with Tom Hammond for Kentucky and Georgia. Another big game for the Bulldogs, who are trying to make a run to the NCAA dance.
You know, Tim, those are 4 pretty hot clubs right now, playing pretty well. You start looking around the league, and if LSU were to win this one and get back in the winning ways again, we have this discussion, you and I, all the time about who's going to make that NCAA tournament. Boy, it is getting down to the wire now.
It really is. Tigers dominating on the boards, and that's the reason they have this lead. Manning in the lane. Barry Manning, known more for his passing than his scoring, brings the Gamecocks to within 8. Senior from Eau Claire High School in Columbia, South Carolina. Justin Anderson has checked in for the Tigers. Number 5 in gold, a perimeter shooter, as has Paul Marshall.
Yeah, I was going to see Marshall on the right side over there.
Freshman from Shreveport. O'Neal, way too strong that time. Ralston, rejected by O'Neal. And Lesso picks up the foul.
That's 3 block shots already for Shaquille O'Neal. It is so difficult to get any kind of continuity, any movement, any kind of shot in there when you've got him standing there. I mean, the guy leads the nation in block shots. You just can't get anything in the basket anywhere close.
The scouting report on Shaq down low is if you give him a pump fake, he'll leave his feet. That time Ralston did, and O'Neal held his ground. We saw that in the Georgia game when he fouled out. Orlando Bennett had him commit. Marshall pumps off the back iron.
See, O'Neal made a good screen to get him open. He just couldn't make the shot.
Popovic trying to run a little give and go with Ralston, and O'Neal is ever present. Popovic rejected by O'Neal.
He threw that one in the backcourt.
Oh, he has 4 blocks. He only has 2 points, but he has 4 of these.
I'll tell you what, I know Brian never saw anything like this in Yugoslavia. Forget it. It's all the way into the backcourt. Watch this. Oh, my goodness, is he up? Whoa.
I think the entire mitt was on that basketball. I mean, he didn't just graze it. He almost palmed it in midair. JoJo English has come back into the game. Popovic has come out.
Wilson almost looks bewildered out there. He's got himself out away from the basket. Now Lesso's trying to post up Singleton.
Shot clock at 1, and Caesar strips it. Singleton.
Nice body control by Singleton. He made a nice turn. He got himself under control. He almost lost it and just got it back at the last second.
Burnell, the leading scorer in the game, with 8 points. 23-13.
Nice fake by English. He blocked it.
That's 5 for the Shack, and Ralston followed. I think the idea by English is good, though. Attack the basket. You have to take it inside and hope for some putback opportunity.
Well, if you're going to attack the basket, you got to be willing to get the ball back out if O'Neal's going to be there. Ralston with a block.
It's a 4-on-2 to Manning.
South Carolina making a move.
I think Steve Newton may have found a formula with this lineup. Watson, Manning, English along the perimeter with Lesso and Ralston inside.
Good screen by O'Neal. Caesar drained it. Boy, that quieted the crowd quickly.
26-17, Tigers by 9. Tigers were hoping to make this a 94-foot game. They haven't been able to do that.
Williamson with a push. He's going to have a tough time keeping up with JoJo English. He's just got an awful lot of quickness, a lot of offensive moxie. Williamson having difficulty right now just even trying to stay even.
That's 3 fouls on Maurice. Jamie Brandon is checked out, and Mike Hansen has come in for him. Mike Hansen, another one of those players that either figures prominently offensively or not at all for this LSU team, a pure perimeter shooter. He's checking Jamie Watson out high. Lesso from the top of the key.
Singleton needs to stay man-to-man on him and forget about helping down inside. Lesso can shoot from that range.
Hansen now operating at the point. O'Neal. He made up his mind that he was going to shoot that time, and he turned it over. Took steps. There are times that Shaquille O'Neal decides, this time I'm going to shoot. He picked the wrong time. this time.
LSU leading 26-19 with 7:40 left to go in the first half. Let's go back and take a look at another center in this basketball game that can also block shots. Jeff Rolston. Singleton on the baseline making the move around Lesso. Rolston right there to reject it. That was his first block of the evening. He's third in the Southeastern Conference in block shots. But he's going up against the man who is the leader, Shaquille O'Neal.
Jeff Rolston, during this losing streak for South Carolina, has played very well. He's had to just to keep his team in it. Did so against Arkansas and Fayetteville, particularly in the second half over the weekend. Paul Marshall now drawing the defensive assignment on JoJo English, and he gets a quick turnover.
Yeah, English just lost that basketball. Pass was all right. LSU back to their half-court game. Been very patient on offense here tonight. Much more so than any game I've seen them this year. Hanson wanted that. Manning knows he loves to shoot.
Creates his own three.
Basket by Mike Hanson.
Actually, they have counted for two, just inside the three-point arc. 28-19. Tigers by 9. They left Watson alone. O'Neal clears.
How many times have you said that in your life? O'Neal clears.
He clears it all. Clears the rafters, you name it.
Singleton trying to get Lesso inside. Nice move.
Oh,
He is quick to the basket, Tim. I don't know that there's a guy in this conference at his size that's any quicker to the basket than Vernell Singleton.
another LSU player that was a dominating player in the early 80s and late 70s, although he was left-handed, Rudy Macklin. Very, very adept at that. Lesso rejected by O'Neal. Rolston follows.
You know, when O'Neal jumps in there to block those shots, if he's out of play after the block, somebody's got to be there to help. Caesar's nowhere around after O'Neal blocks the shot.
Stephen Eggers coming into the game for the first time, along with Troy McCoy, number 13 in white, as Jamie Watson and Chris Lesso sit down. Our score 30-21. LSU by 9. 8 minutes left in the opening half. Tim Brando, Larry Conley, happy to have you with us.
Hey, you know what? He walked, but it's a good move. Throw the ball up on the glass and go get it. Who's going to get in his way? Watch this now. He's going to take the ball, and he does walk. See him move his feet, but just throw it up there and go get it. I love the play.
It's like a slam dunk contest.
It's great. Just throw it up there and go get it.
Now, you really should get an assist and a hoop for that.
And a rebound.
Troy McCoy gets caught. Actually, Stephen Eggers off the ball rather than McCoy. His first foul. And Lesso quickly will come back into the game. As Eggers sits down. O'Neal. Ralston got in the way that time.
I think he may have touched the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Just got a little piece of it. Offense is somewhat stagnant on both ends right now, but the defense has been pretty good.
And you look at these guards, all of them.
Look at him against Caesar again.
Yeah. McCoy commits the foul. You get the feeling as you look at South Carolina's guards, they're not protecting the ball as well as Steve Newton would like, but they're all bigger than LSU's guards. You think that they're looking to post them up?
Well, possibly, but they can't get inside. I mean, a post up for a guard in this situation with O'Neal standing there is not going to do you any good.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to venture very far from that paint. Caesar with another steal. This man is the theft king all over that basketball.
Troy McCoy picking up his second foul.
And just a freshman. How many times in the next 4 years will you think broadcasters will say, "Hail Caesar," or "Render unto Caesar what is his"? I mean, they'll use all the cliches. He's almost got it again.
All Brown has to do is recruit a Spartacus to go with him.
Wilson still wants to post up inside against O'Neal.
Caesar got a hand on that one again. McCoy. The dump down and a player control foul. Burnell Singleton in the paint, in position to pick up the charge.
Singleton with good footwork, got right there in position to draw it. Take a look again. Caesar gets beat this time, and it's a nice move down the lane. He just gets caught.
That's 3 on Troy McCoy. He'll be forced to sit, and Jamie Watson has come back in.
LSU's going to spread the floor. South Carolina's going to stay in that zone. They're going to make them come out and play. Oh, a little different strategy now by the Tigers. Gives you a lot to talk about, and then there's no movement.
This is the old 3-2 spread that Brown adopted a long, long time ago. He's kept it in his offense.
See if they get a decent shot out of this. They're down to 5 seconds.
Caesar with a long shot, not the one I'm sure Coach Brown wanted. That offense he began to utilize when Ethan Martin was his point guard. It's a little different when you got somebody like that who can run that spread. It's a Phil Ford of LSU's lore.
Nice pass by English, and he missed it inside.
Paul Marshall clears. He needs help. Gets it from Hansen.
Oh, Watson had an easy layup. That was a terrific pass by JoJo English.
3:31 remaining in the first half.
Here comes the spread. Not a very popular move in Gamecock country right now.
Get the feeling, though, that Brown is just happy to have this 10-point lead at this point with a Shaquille O'Neal that's not completely healthy.
I think he'd be happy to walk out of here 31-21, sure.
Paul Marshall, he has a stroke. O'Neal with the follow, cleared by Lesso.
Crowd's giving O'Neal a little rough time. He missed an easy dunk there.
Shaquille only with 2 points in this first half, but he has 5 blocks. His impact has been felt on the defensive end. Tigers by 10, 31-21. Watson. Well, that very easily could have been goaltending. I think the flight of that ball was coming down.
I don't know, Tim. I'm going to tell you, I think he got it at the top. I think it was a good play.
So far, Shaq 1 for 4 from the floor, 4 boards, 7 blocks. You know what? You're right. Right again, Conley. That's why I love working with you. We'll be back after this word from Pepsi. History will be made this fall when the Southeastern Conference holds its first ever SEC football championship game. The SEC's Eastern and Western Division winners will meet at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, the football capital of the South, on December 5th, 1992. For ticket information, call 1-800-277-1700. High lob for Watson, not there. LSU leading by 10.
Hansen with a nice pass, and Singleton with a great catch. That was a difficult pass for Mike Hansen to make, but he got it into Singleton's hands. It was a little bit behind him. Singleton got himself recovered and got it up and in. Burnell Singleton having another good game, Tim.
Mike Hansen's played well since coming in to run the Tigers at the point. LSU with its largest lead at 12, and Paul Marshall had the steal. Singleton picked up the foul. Burnell will get a few of those reach-ins, the style he employs on the defensive end.
Is that the 17th foul on LSU? They go to the 1-and-1.
So English goes to the line. Both teams in the bonus. It's been a pretty foul-free game, though.
Tell you what, it's been a relatively error-free game.
Yeah,
we have not had a lot of turnovers either. It's the type of game you get when you've got a slow tempo, a very patient offense, on the part of both clubs.
Watson Manning nearly took that one away from O'Neal.
It's like a flea on an elephant. There's that reversal right there by Shaquille. When he gets doubled down inside, he looks over his shoulder immediately. There's a good catch. He gets fouled. Good call.
Ralston from the backside, Lesso on the side, and Jeff Ralston picks it up. His first.
Now watch how many people surround him when the ball comes in here. There's all 5 South Carolina players all in view. It's what's going to happen to him his whole college career, as it has already. You know what? He's got nice form on his shot. I don't know why he doesn't make more of them. He's really struggled from the line this year, as he has in every year he's been in college. But it just doesn't seem to go, but everything's right.
No one can assimilate the size of his hands, and I think that may be a problem for him.
It's part of it. It's very difficult to hold a basketball. I mean, it's like you and I try to shoot a tennis ball. You know, I couldn't shoot a tennis ball. I know you couldn't.
I'm not very good with the forehand or the backhand either. JoJo English has been unable to get untracked offensively. That has been a key for the LSU defense all night long. They're up by 13 with 1:10 and counting left in the first half.
O'Neal calling for the basketball. Singleton's got a shot if he wants it.
English strips Paul Marshall. He may have gotten
I think
a technical foul on
South
Steve
Carolina,
Newton.
Yeah.
He had been working the officials for some time. Sam Croft lit him up.
It came from the bench. I'm not sure whether it was him or whether it was one of the assistants. It might have been one of the assistant coaches.
He didn't like that. I think that's what upset him. Under a minute left. Tigers leading by 14.
Nice trap by South Carolina, and Hansen did a nice job to get out of it. Oh, man, the English had him trapped right in front of us here.
10 seconds the differential between the game clock and the shot clock, which you see there in the lower right-hand portion of your screen. Tigers will use a little bit of the clock here with this spread formation.
South Carolina should be able to get the ball back.
Shot clock is down to 10 as Hansen begins to make his move. Garrett Hammock into the game for the first time, walks. And Gale Brown is livid. Coming up at halftime, scores of other games, and there are a number of them tonight, very important in this league and beyond. We'll have some statistics and highlights and a look at our SEC Rookie of the Week. All of that coming up at the intermission. Watson out of bounds, control to LSU, deflected off of Chris Lesso. So with 2 seconds remaining, the Tigers have one last chance.
It's got to go up quick.
We're at halftime. LSU on the road with cause, having lost 3 consecutive games, but with a chance to move into first in the SEC's West, have the lead by 14. Stay with us.
Today's SEC action is brought to you by Lowe's, where home improvements begin. By BC Headache Powder. No matter where you're hurting, you need the power of BC. By Buick and your Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. And by AT&T, proud sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team.
LSU on the road in South Carolina here in Columbia with a 14-point lead. We are at halftime of our Pepsi SEC Game of the Week. We're happy to have you with us tonight. Tim Brando along with Larry Conley, happy to have you with us, and I think you have to credit Dale Brown once again, a focused group, much as that Alabama game when his team had lost a number of games in succession. He's coaching with some cause, and his team is really responding.
Tim, they really have, and I think defensively, and we may not have made mention of this enough in the first half, they've really done a terrific job on shutting JoJo English down. And really, Shaquille O'Neal's play on the inside defensively has been a big catalyst, I think, in getting LSU this lead.
Remember, he's playing with a little pain, 102 fever last night in Charlotte, North Carolina. So it'll be interesting to see what his stamina is like in the second half. Speaking of stamina and health, Joe Red, the loss of him, the leading scorer and rebounder for this team earlier this past season, back in late January, really detrimental to the growth of this club in its inaugural year in the SEC. But more importantly, Larry, I think a very difficult situation for a man this age to have to make, one with a future that he had athletically.
Well, the leading scorer on this basketball team, it's terrible that he has to walk away from this game because he loves to play, but he'd love to get back to play again.
Yeah, he really would. After going to the Emory Hospital in Atlanta and making the decision not to play collegiately, he's looking to the future. We asked him about the future and what it holds. Here's what Joe Red had to say.
Right now, I won't be playing. Everybody knows I won't be playing college basketball here anymore, but I'll be going through this rehab for the next 4 or 5 months. And it's a process of where they want to see that if I'm highly conditioned, that will I have those same symptoms that I had before. And if I can prove that, I can play again and I could be highly conditioned and still perform on the basketball court, I think that the doctors will release me and maybe give me a shot at, the NBA or possibly, go overseas somewhere. But I'm not giving up hopes at all. Hoping I have another opportunity to play again. But as for now, I had to realize last couple of weeks that basketball is not everything. I have to look at other opportunities in my life, especially academics. And that's one good thing out of it so far, that I've seen that I can use my degree, I can finish school out, and should be graduating this summer. And, I can use my degree and get a good job and, still be happy with myself.
A very solid young man, Joe Red. We wish him the best. He had the pacemaker installed. We just hope that he is able to get whatever he wants in life. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more halftime activities right after this word from Pepsi. We welcome you back to Columbia, South Carolina. The LSU Tigers leading the South Carolina Gamecocks. Tim Brando along with Larry Conley, happy to have you with us. And it's that time of the week again, time to look back at our SEC Rookie of the Week. Believe me, there's more at Ole Miss than just Mr. Rebel. Our Jefferson Pilot Rookie of the Week is guard Kevin Watkins of the Ole Miss Rebels. The 6'2", 180-pound junior from North Little Rock, Arkansas, had a career-best 32 points in an 86-84 overtime setback to Florida in their only game last week. The transfer from Garden City Community College in Kansas brought back memories of Tim Jumper, another outstanding perimeter player of Ole Miss lore. He also registered 9 rebounds, 4 steals, and 2 assists, shooting 50% from the field, 12 for 24. He hit a bucket in the lane with 18 seconds remaining to send the contest into overtime. In all, he scored 5 of the Rebels' last 9 points. Kevin Watkins, our Jefferson Pilot Rookie of the Week. So let out a Rebel yell for Kevin Watkins. They have a big week in Oxford coming up in the SEC. Stay with us. We'll be back with more halftime activities in just a moment. Other college basketball scores on a very busy Wednesday night. Lon Kruger's club really playing well. If they hold on and win, they'll be 13-9.
Tim, they're having an excellent second half of the year right now. He's starting to get them together, beating an Auburn team down in Gainesville.
Hearing a lot of great things about DeClerc down low for the Florida Gators. The Tennessee Volunteers, 79-67, Wade Houston's team. Much different ball club in Knoxville than on the road.
Yeah, they're just hanging on. They got a chance still to make the tournament.
The Kentucky Wildcats and Mississippi State, consider this the last 3 years they've played in Starkville, they've lost by 1 point, one time in overtime, and this is a cause game for the Bulldogs, 6-4 in league play.
Interesting, Kentucky's up in Starkville by 2.
Syracuse loses to St. John's. Little Luigi gets it done at Madison Square Garden in the Big East. Georgetown and Connecticut. Boy, the Hoyas are a tough team to figure this year, and the Huskies appeared to be one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the country at the beginning of the year.
I think the Big East is hard to figure.
Yeah, it really is. It's a weird year, and the Big East is a part of that. Indiana leading Michigan State 21-10. The Hoosiers trying to hang in a tie with Ohio State atop the Big Ten race. And our Gillette Scholar Athlete of the Week is Larry Jackson, a 2-year letterman for the football team of Bill Curry, an academic all-SEC honor roll participant in 1990 and 91. His major is social work. He spent his senior football season in graduate school working on his master's in social work. He's married, has a 1-year-old son, and credited with 22 tackles in 11 games, 6 special teams tackles, and I'm sure that he's also tackled his 1-year-old a time or 2. Our congratulations to Larry Jackson, a perfect 4.0 GPA. We'll see what happens in half number 2 when we come back to Columbia.
Pilot Sports exclusive coverage of the Pepsi SEC Game of the Week is brought to you by your local BP service stations with high-quality gasolines and friendly service. BP on the move. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Delta, the airline of SEC country. We love to fly, and it shows. And by Pepsi. Gotta have it.
You bet you gotta have it. You gotta have that too, right? That makes me homesick. Young man enjoying himself. He was eating the basketball a moment ago. Now he's eating the hat. Well, I guess that's what Shaquille O'Neal has been doing. He's making them eat the basketball on the defensive end. He's really been a factor on the defensive side, Larry, much more than on the offensive side.
Yeah, but it's been a big help, I'll tell you, for the LSU team. Even though he's not one of their leading scorers, he's right up there in rebounds, and his blocks have been terrific. Let's look at the stats, the Lowe's halftime stats.
From the floor, the Tigers burning it up. South Carolina having their problems, and I think the rebounding story is obviously one that South Carolina, I think, felt they had a chance to compete in. But look at that, the turnover problem. They anticipated getting far more turnovers than 7, and they've committed 3 more than the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at the number of turnovers for South Carolina. Let's take a look at the leading scorers in the first half. For LSU, it was Caesar with 12, Singleton with 12, and Brandon with 5. O'Neal presence not there. And let's take a look at South Carolina scoring leaders. They have 5 players with 4 points. Good distribution, just not enough.
Just a copy point that we would like to make, that Shaquille O'Neal, while not a factor offensively, has been a great factor defensively.
Timmy has had 8 blocked shots in the first half. That man, Steve Newton, right there. His club down at halftime, only scoring 21 points in that first half.
Steve Newton, his bench was assessed a technical foul in the first half, but you were accurate, Larry. It was not against Steve. It was against his assistant coach, James Holland. He picked up that technical, but again, a second technical foul against the bench would mean an ejection for Steve Newton.
Exactly. Anytime the technicals come from the bench, they are assessed to the head coach. If you get 2, you got to go.
JoJo English fires up a 3. He's fouled by Caesar, and that's a 3-shot foul. Now, I know you have to defend the perimeter, but that may be the worst foul to give.
Well, particularly when you're going out there to go after a guy that's taking a shot that's almost sitting down on his own team's bench.
Caesar will sit down, and Dale Brown will talk to him about it. There's just absolutely no sense in committing that kind of foul when you're up by 14 to open the half. And in defense of Clarence Caesar, he is a freshman, and he makes some mistakes like that from time to time.
Yeah, but you're into February, Tim. You're almost talking about a sophomore now. I mean, he's almost had a full year of college basketball under his belt. He should know better.
Brown's really making that point.
You know, I sort of wave off those freshman mistakes when you start getting into February and March, because if you've had a chance to play, particularly Caesar, who's had a lot of playing experience, he's played a lot of minutes this year for LSU.
Manning keeping it alive. Lesso got O'Neal airborne, but he came down to reject it again. That's number 9 for O'Neal, his 9th block of the.
South Carolina back into that 2-3 zone defense again. Just what they started with in the first half. And Williamson lets one go. A 3.
Maurice Williamson with his first tray of the night.
Boy, LSU looking very good. Very patient, very confident right now. Ralston way away from the basket. O'Neal all over him. Good defense again by LSU. Pressure on the ball has been very good, I think, for LSU tonight.
Watson. O'Neal clears it. The outlet to Mo Williamson. Fouled from the backside by JoJo English.
Well, LSU is just taking this crowd completely out of this game. I think they came in here tonight with expectations of being able to really get on the LSU team, a club that had lost 3 in a row. They're not going to do that tonight. This LSU team has come in here prepared. They're ready to play, even though they had bad travel plans last night, much like the 2 of us.
That's right. Now the glamour of travel, it never wears off, does it? English with a high lob to Watson. Tried to save it. Williamson collects the loose ball.
Nice push.
Singleton follows.
Took it right out of Ralston's hands. I mean, he had it, was getting ready to pull it down and count it in the R column. Rebounds. But he didn't get it. Singleton just took it away from him and stuck it in.
Tigers have 15 points off turnovers. And Steve Newton is forced to take the timeout.
Tim, watch this excellent play by Singleton from behind. Look, Ralston's got anything. Oh, I got a rebound. No. Singleton right there to muscle it up.
Not a bad idea by Mo Williamson. Just get it on the backboard. Somebody will be behind you. We'll be back. At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll be selecting a BP best player from each team. In addition to recognizing our 2 best players, BP and its dealers will contribute $2,000 to the Southeastern Conference to be distributed among the member institutions' general scholarship funds under a conference-approved plan. Tigers were up 14 at halftime. They're up 18 now. Their largest lead. 1 minute and 50 seconds gone.
O'Neal with a steal.
Oh, in the open court, right past Ralston.
Are you kidding me? Oh, what a move. Listen, put this one in your highlight film right now. Watch this move. I mean, that is strength, that is power, that is athletic ability. What a play by Shaquille O'Neal. The steal, the length of the floor dribble, the foul, the jam.
Shaq to the rack, and he gets 3 the old-fashioned way.
And he earned it. I'll tell you what, that really put a buzz into this crowd.
JoJo English out there. Ralston trying to pick up the loose ball, finds Lesso up high. Chris Lesso. He has 6 in the game. I know South Carolina likes the half court, but they may have to come out and pressure now.
Look at Singleton go back after the ball.
Lesso knocks it away. Manning with the outlet to JoJo English. The lob to Watson. Too strong.
Good idea, bad execution.
Brandon will pull up. LSU kicking in on all cylinders. Up by 21.
Tim, I think this is the LSU team we expected to see play all year, just like this.
You know, I really believe they got an emotional lift, even though they were grounded with their charter flight last night, once they learned of the Georgia win over Arkansas.
He blocked it again. O'Neal with another one.
Lesso gets the putback. 45-26.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do right now if you're LSU is get complacent. I mean, you just keep on doing what you've been doing, and it'll be successful. South Carolina needs to turn up the defense a notch.
Oh, Shaq making it look easy. 8 points for him, 6 of them in this half.
A force to be reckoned with. Listen to this crowd. They are just buzzing in here.
JoJo English.
English with a little of his own action down there.
Little counterattack.
We're going to have a dunk-a-thon.
And a foul off the ball. I think it may be against O'Neal.
It is on a push-off. Rolston did a little bit of acting on this particular play, but he gets the call.
Just the second foul against Shaq. Tigers have it going their way. The players thought there was going to be a television timeout. Hey, we got our break, folks. We're ready to play.
Watch O'Neal come right back in with strength. You know what? He has really good depth at catching the ball with that one hand and going back in strong. Go back to the other end. Watch JoJo English with a little bit of movement of his own.
Two players that will be elevated to another level very soon. JoJo's got a future in the NBA as well. Lesso gets the roll at home.
Lesso's having a nice ball game. Good shooter from about 10, 12, 15 feet.
10 points for Chris, the junior from nearby Spartanburg, South Carolina. Singleton. I think we've had 6 out of 7 field goals that have been jammed here in the second half.
Nice penetration that time by Brandon to get the ball down inside to Singleton. Watson trying to do the same thing inside for South Carolina.
Acrobatic move, but he comes up empty. A 3-on-1.
That's a walk.
Dale Brown up, clapping. He likes the effort. And the clinch fist means man-to-man on the defensive side. No need for the freak tonight.
They're just lining up and going toe-to-toe.
Caesar clears it. South Carolina struggling from the perimeter. Brandon to O'Neal. Paul Marshall follows.
Nice bounce pass by English. Goaltending.
Yeah, but it looked good, didn't it?
Jamie Watson was all over that. It was a nice catch. English with a good bounce pass. Look at this bounce pass right here. One-handed on the run. Good catch by Watson. Caesar there with the rejection.
It's an Olympic year. You still give him a 5-7 from the East German judges for the effort.
Those guys are gone.
That's right. 49-32. Well, we do live in a vacuum, don't we? O'Neal. Oh, what a nice move. Drop step into the paint.
Caught Edmund Wilson nailed to the floor.
O'Neal, a perfect 10. 10 blocks, 10 points, 10 boards so far.
Bo Derek never had it so good, huh?
And a foul in the paint area. Jamie Watson. Check that. Caesar picking it up. There's your triple-double.
He's up to 11 rebounds now.
You'll take a seat.
Watch O'Neal again right here. Good catch. Pass away from the defense. A look and a quick move. Oh, a hook. He hooked him. He did. He got him with the right arm. Right there. No, left arm and wheel to the right. Tell you what, for a guy who's got a fever, he's hot.
English.
Ooh, Singleton with a nice block from behind.
Garrett Hammock may have picked up the foul. In certain games, depending on the matchup, I'm sure Dale Brown would really enjoy having Gert Hammock be more of an impact player, as he was at the end of last season. This year, Hammock, the youngster from the Netherlands, has not been a force on the offensive end, and I think it's had an impact on him as a player on both ends of the floor.
Well, I think there's also that mindset that you have to realize that you're going to be a backup center the entire time you're playing at LSU. I mean, no one's going to play over the top of O'Neal. You just got to come in and spell him, give him his minutes, and blow on the bench, and be content with that role.
Yeah, and last year it was a role that he didn't mind. And when O'Neal was injured in that Florida game in Gainesville, Hammock was forced to play in the title game, the regular season title game in Starkville. He had 20 points and 9 rebounds in that game and kept LSU in it before they lost by 3. Mississippi State earned a share of the SEC title by virtue of that win.
Singleton trying to set a screen to help Brandon. You're going to get a 5-second call.
Coming up this weekend, Alabama and Arkansas at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central Time. And then Kentucky and Georgia in a special Sunday meeting in Athens, Georgia. As you mentioned, Larry, I don't think there are 4 better teams right now that you'd want to watch in this league than those. Outside of maybe LSU tonight.
Manning with the push as Marshall tried to make his move, or Brandon make his move down the lane.
The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. Tigers will trigger it in. Hansen for 3. English uses his body.
Was that a magnificent move? I mean, he was 1-on-3. Everybody all around him, he still was able to get off a decent shot and get it to go in.
He's magnificent talent in the backcourt. And a great defender, too. Maybe the best defensive guard in this league. Singleton.
Basket by Singleton.
Vernell has 18 tonight.
Putting together pretty good back-to-back games. The result's going to be a little different here, though.
Edmund Wilson on the baseline. Hammett clears it. Tigers looking to run. Getting the pace they want. Watson knocked that one away, and JoJo will go. Fouled by Caesar.
That was an ill-advised pass, Tim. They really didn't have any kind of break at all. They just sort of pulled it down and got into their half-court game.
Turnover problem has been for South Carolina tonight rather than LSU. The Tigers outscoring the Gamecocks in points off turnovers by 18, and that has been an area where most coaches that have opposed Dale Brown have had an advantage. Not for Steve Newton tonight. Caesar goes to the pine, having picked up his 4th foul. JoJo English at the stripe.
Struggled a little bit from the free throw line tonight, South Carolina has.
Well, you really have to feel for Steve Newton. He comes in. It's tough enough when you're trying to start a program and you've got so many seniors, they have to learn your system. Then they start falling by the wayside. You lose a Joe Rett for the rest of his career. Then JoJo English is gone last week when he goes into Fayetteville. Barry Manning unavailable. I mean, it's a very, very difficult road to hoe. (53-36). High lob for Shaq. Counted and a foul.
That's his strength. That time he got it up purely on the basis of strength. He was held and still able to get the shot off. Watch it again. Lesso's on the outside right here. Ralston's right there. It's Lesso who reached in and he was still able to get the ball to go into the basket. This guy is so strong.
Nothing more Ralston could do there. That's an example of what you were talking about earlier, Larry. That's pretty good form that O'Neal exhibited. Just too strong.
Yeah, he really has got good form. I mean, his release is good, his follow-through is good. The ball just doesn't go in.
Troy McCoy can't find it. Singleton turned it over again. See, these kinds of turnovers are the problems Dale Brown does not want to see in games that are closer. It's been a real problem spot for him. Not many problems tonight.
U.S. Air to New York. Don't forget about the upcoming Gamecock basketball here at Carolina Coliseum. Carolina will take on Florida.
55-36, LSU by 19, 11:39 remaining. Tim Brando along with Larry Conley. We were mentioning earlier the frustration for Steve Newton without a player as good as this one, Joe Rett. And again, we heard from him at halftime. You know, had he not been told by the people at the Emory Hospital that they would suggest medication for him, I think he would have come back to play, but he does not want to take the medication. He's hoping that his weight training and lack of body fat in the future will give him a chance to play professionally somewhere down the line.
We all certainly hope he's able to come back, but very dangerous situation.
Ralston puts it in. Justin Anderson loses it. Watson.
You know, South Carolina gets a couple of threes and a couple of deuces here. They're right back in this game.
Brandon in the lane. Dale Brown wants a timeout. He's very unhappy with his team. He's got a big lead, but he wants his club focused for the rest of the month of February. Tigers' lead has been whittled down to 15, 10:42 remaining. (55-40). LSU leading South Carolina. Dale Brown taking a timeout that he felt was definitely necessary, Larry.
It was necessary because Jamie Brandon got into a position down there with that basketball he shouldn't have gotten himself into, and Dale Brown told him about it.
McCoy for three. Anderson keeps it alive. Nice work for the young man from North Dakota, Valley City. Transferred from Cal Irvine.
Well, O'Neal's a lot more mobile. Look at him moving across that lane. Makes himself a better target. Even though he misses the shot, he's still able to go back and get it. Got a foul.
Yeah, that's another league. Sorry, fellas, that's just another league down there when O'Neal makes up his mind to be active in the paint area.
Tim, he is so dangerous when he is moving inside like that on offense, going back and forth across that free throw lane and up and down the lane. He makes himself a much better target and makes it a real troublesome thing for the defense to try to hone in on him. You ever seen a player who goes on the road that creates more excitement in college basketball than this guy does?
No, not in recent memory. He's very special. He's going to go down once his career is done, regardless of whether it's this year or next year. And indications are it will be next year, that he might stay for that fourth season. He'll go down as one of the all-time greats. We'll be saying, boy, it was great to watch him play. Paul Marshall picks up a foul.
Paul Marshall, his first.
This is a young man seeing some significant playing time in recent games for his defensive work, but he's got a tremendous stroke. We haven't seen it evidenced in recent games, but he's got an extraordinary potential on the perimeter. That's another block for O'Neal. That's 12 for him.
We may better start looking up his career shot blocks for a game.
Yeah, I think he's coming very close to his all-time single game record.
LSU being very patient. Brandon handling much better that time. Got it to O'Neal, and he lost it.
JoJo English leading a 3-on-2, and he lost it. Wilson not there to get it. Rough night for that man.
Number 35, number 40,
Barry Manning coming back into the game. Wilson will sit down, as will Troy McCoy.
Well, LSU really looking more to the inside now. There's O'Neal. The double down, and there's Singleton. There's that same move that he had in Nashville, and he did just exactly the same thing. When they double down like that, if it's from the point, Singleton's stationed in a position where he can receive that ball and make that shot.
Singleton has 20 in the game. Under 9 minutes left. LSU's lead is 19. They've led throughout. Watson for 3. O'Neal again. Waits for some help.
Good move. Pull it up. You're in trouble. Don't be down there with the Munchkins. Marshall wanted to lob in there. Didn't do it. There's the double down, and there's Singleton's spot. Bang.
Draw it up.
Singleton's automatic. Automatic.
22 points for Vernell Singleton, the senior from Natchez, Mississippi. Young man's played every position, including center, as a freshman when Chris Jackson was playing back in '88. Watson fouled by O'Neal.
See that look on his face? You know what? He's got one of the most pleasant smiles. I mean, he really has. I mean, he's such an intimidating guy, but it's a very warm, pleasant smile.
And look at that. Florida wins against Auburn. They move their overall record to 13-9.
Tennessee with a big win over Ole Miss, 98-86. And Georgetown beats Connecticut. Well, Connecticut's been going downhill.
Yeah, Jim Calhoun's team has really been a disappointment since mid-January.
Watch again. Here's Watson with the move inside. He probably is a good call. Sam Croft right there. Look at Shaquille. He says, what? I did that? Sometimes when you look at the immense size of this man, you have a tendency to overlook what is a very pleasant face.
Oh, he is.
He's just a very pleasant kid. And he is a kid.
Yep, only 19. That's one of the reasons why those that are close to this program really do believe he will stay for his senior year. He's still a young man that wants to enjoy his teenage years. Look at him stay with it. Oh, Shaq, that's some rack you've been going to tonight.
Follows on Ralston, his 4th.
O'Neal again. This is going to become the Shaquille O'Neal highlight show here. Watch it again. Good roll. Oh, somebody touched that ball on the rim. I'm not sure whether it was an LSU player or a South Carolina player, but O'Neal went back again and got it.
(63-41). LSU by 22.
LSU back into that 2-3 zone. Carolina needs to get something going here. Watson, Manning, English all on the outside. If LSU zones, they can shoot that ball from 3-point range. They want to get it to English.
English for 3.
Oh, Lesso with a nice pickup. Oh, and he threw it away.
Singleton to Williamson. Back to Brandon. And he turned it over. Wow. Brown trying to be positive this time. He's already given him a hard time for blowing a few break opportunities. So now he's trying to be a little more positive.
Tell you what, you hate to blow opportunities like that. I mean, oh, you got an easy basket, and you let it get away. LSU's going to stay in that zone defense. And again, South Carolina throws it away.
Their defense tonight in the half court has been tremendous. You look at what JoJo English can and many times does do. Really taking him out of the offense. It all starts right there. Count it, and a foul.
Basket is good by O'Neal.
The Tigers' schedule is very, very beneficial because every remaining game is at home with the exception of Arkansas on March 3rd. That game could be for the outright regular season Southeastern Conference Championship.
But as you well know, LSU has played better on the road in the SEC this year than they have at home.
Yeah. 5-1 coming in tonight on the road, 2-2 at home.
Does that make sense?
Well, think about this. You see O'Neal, Edmund Wilson coming into the game. Think about this. If you had told Dale Brown or Rick Pitino that Arkansas would have lost 3 times in this league, and one of their 3 losses would not have been either at Baton Rouge or Lexington, would you have believed that?
No, there's no way you would have believed that. Not starting the season.
Arkansas's 3 losses have come at Georgia, at Tennessee, and there's one other one, and I'm trying to think of it right now. I'll come up with it in a minute.
English lost the basketball out of bounds, and again, 3rd straight turnover now for South Carolina.
And at Alabama. Took a while. That's why this game Saturday is so important coming up. It's a revenge game in Fayetteville between Arkansas and Alabama. High lob, too strong that time. It's a turnover.
Interesting lineup Dale Brown has in there. He's got Hammock and O'Neal both in there at the same time now.
A little high-low post action, you think?
Yeah, possibly.
JoJo English.
See how they line up.
JoJo English sits down. Steal by Brandon.
4th turnover in a row. South Carolina really struggling taking care of the basketball tonight. Turnovers have killed them. So has Shaquille O'Neal.
Williamson.
Nice shot. That was a pretty good move.
You know, you think about his father. He took so many shots that appeared to be tough shots, and he made them. And Maurice Williamson has that same sort of innate ability.
Even Hammock almost got into the action with a steal.
Manning.
Gary Manning.
(68-43).
LSU really just basically running their offense, trying to get it to the inside. Good steal that time by South Carolina. Edmund Wilson on top of it.
Wilson loses it out of bounds, and the Tigers will have it. Burnell Singleton and Mike Hansen will come back into the game. South Carolina will take a timeout. Tigers have had it going their way all evening long. They are leading by 25. You've heard that song, "We're Having a Heat Wave," right? LSU's put on a heat wave, and that man's enjoying a siesta here in Columbia.
It was warm enough here in Columbia today to be able to do that, too.
Great golf weather while you and I were sleeping.
No.
Took that afternoon rest. Look at that front court scoring. Most of it O'Neal, but he's had a lot of help. And look at that inside. Maurice Williamson jamming it home right here in front of his paw.
Dad's going to be happy about seeing that one.
Sure is. Happy to hear that Super John was able to make the trip. A difficult time for him physically.
Well, they've got Watson and Popovich outside. If they want to start making threes, less so. Another good shot.
Hey, this is a young man that's played extremely well and is not your first option offensively. He's really played well tonight. He's probably had to make more adjustments because of the loss of Joe Rett than anyone on the floor. Singleton with a spin move, drawing the foul from McCoy. Well, actually, they get Lesso rather than McCoy.
Fouled by Chris Lesso.
Lesso picks it up. His 4th.
Tim, I just want to say one thing. As we look at Coach Steve Newton of South Carolina, I would tell you, knowing this man as well as I know him, the commitment to succeed and the commitment to excellence by this man is second to none. And South Carolina has the facilities and the will to do what they want to do. They'll put this program together the way he wants it done. He's a very astute basketball coach. He knows what he's doing, and they have the facilities to get it done. We're all hoping that he does, because he's a terrific guy.
Well, the addition of South Carolina into the Southeastern Conference will pay magnificent dividends on the basketball side. A tremendous tradition here with what Frank McGuire was able to achieve, and now a proud tradition reborn into a power league like the SEC after spending so many years in the ACC prior to moving out in 1971. John Piku coming into the game for the first time. JoJo English re-enters.
Everybody's going to get a little play in tonight, huh?
We're talking about South Carolina being an ACC member. In the ACC tonight, Virginia at home. They always play the Tar Heels tough in Charlottesville. They have the lead by 10.
Getting harder and harder to stay at the top of that top 10, isn't it? Huh? Everybody's gunning for you.
Hammock with the dump down to Singleton, and Vernell took steps.
Oklahoma State with 2 losses last week. Ohio State with a loss to Iowa last night.
Troy McCoy too strong. I think you really have to admire what the Duke Blue Devils have done, Larry, when you consider that they lost Bobby Hurley. They beat LSU. I think they may have taken a little bit of the edge off of this team and set it reeling into the SEC. Those 2 losses after
nice pass by Lesso. Yeah, I agree with you, Tim. And I think Duke going into Baton Rouge really maybe did wake this team up a little bit, and they went into a little tailspin, and I think now they're beginning to come out of it. You know, a chance still to win that Western Division after Arkansas lost that game last night.
Hansen for 3. Ralston clears. Probably the best thing that Brown can come away from this game with, and you see McCoy knocking that one home. Looked like JoJo English that time.
It did look like a JoJo English form.
Really did. But if you're Dale Brown, you have to love the way your team played a half-court game, particularly when you know going in he wanted a 94-foot style of play. Starting Maurice Williamson and Jamie Brandon was proof of that. Hammock comes out high. Piku will follow. Ralston takes down the rebound. 72-50. JoJo throws one away. Barry Manning coming back in. TJ Pugh has checked in for LSU for the first time, and to give you an idea of the guards du jour that we mentioned at the top of the show, TJ has started almost half of LSU's games this year, and now he'll just get a little mop-up playing time in the last 2 minutes. Williamson negotiates. Maurice has had a good night.
Yeah, he has. He's played very well. Handled the ball well. His defensive work has been strong.
9 points for him. Ralston.
Well, he muscled that one in, didn't he?
The iron kind to Jeff Ralston. Piku. That's a charge. Player control foul right into, guess who? Chris Lesso, who's been there all evening long for this South Carolina team. Jamie Watson coming back in, and Singleton is being congratulated by Dale Brown for a job well done as he comes out of the game.
He had a terrific game, too. Good scoring. Delivered when he had to. Pass was there. He got his shots.
Vernell ends his night with 24 points. Pugh with a 3-on-2. Williamson loses it in the open court. We got an overrule coming. Sam Croft will come over and rule it to South Carolina. Under a minute left.
Long cross-court pass to McCoy.
Lesso keeping it alive again. 14 points, 6 rebounds for Lesso tonight. It's a 20-point game. I don't know about you, Larry, but I will be very interested in hearing that score from Starkville.
Yeah, Kentucky was up by 2 at halftime. A difficult place for them to play in.
Very meaningful game in this league taking place tonight. McCoy.
Ooh, nice shot. Nice turn move.
Troy McCoy with 5 tonight. The LSU Tigers' 3-game losing streak has come to an end. Dale Brown's club 8-3 in the SEC West, tied for first with the Razorbacks of Arkansas. We'll be back after these messages from your local SEC stations. The LSU Tigers beat the South Carolina Gamecocks 74-56 tonight here in Columbia, South Carolina. Our BP best players of the game for the LSU Tigers. No surprise, he's been a BP best player many times before. Shaquille O'Neal, 19 points, 4 steals, 14 rebounds, 11 block shots. And Chris Lesso, 14 points and 6 rebounds in a losing cause for the Gamecocks. And we've got the Shaq right in the middle of Larry Conley and myself. And Shaquille, do you always play this well when you're running a temperature?
No, not really. We lost our last 3 games, and people were sort of counting us out. So we just had to sort of pick up the tempo again. And, I think we're going to be all right.
Shaquille, what do you think about this basketball team? I mean, you're coming off of 3 losses in a row now, and you turned it around tonight. You played a little bit different offense. You went to the high post, and that changed everything on South Carolina's defense.
Right. The last 3 games, every time I go to the low post, I get tripled and quadruple teamed. So, Coach Brown designed a new offense, and, he told me to go to the high post and, set picks and pick and roll. But earlier, we was doing the pick and roll, and they weren't switching. So, he just told us to go back to the old offense, and, they try to play us one-on-one.
Shaq, it really seems that the key with you is your activity in the paint area. When you're active in the lane, you guys seem to be more productive. At times, though, you've got 2 or 3 guys around you. Makes it difficult to be as active as you'd like to be.
Right. Coach Brown just told me to move, and, he said, Shaq, I know it's hard. You got 3 or 4 guys on you, but, keep moving. And, tonight, I think I moved pretty well, and, we won by 20.
Jack, one of the plays that you do very well is when the ball hits the post is that automatic look over your shoulder to Singleton at the top of the circle. That shot was there in Nashville, and it was also here tonight.
Right. I was taught at a young age, if I get the ball and 3 guys come on you, 2 people are open. And, usually Rennell's man drops off, and, Rennell Singleton just cuts to the basket, I just give him the ball.
Well, another outstanding performance for you, and you weren't 100% physically. Thank you for taking time out.
Right.
Get a blanket on you.
All right, man. Thanks.
Thanks.
See you later.
All right, stay with it. Have to be a big blanket, though. Stay with us. We'll be back with Coach Dale Brown.
SEC basketball has been brought to you by the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company. For insurance and financial services, better call Jefferson Pilot. By Gillette and the revolutionary Gillette Sensor Razor Shaving System. Gillette, the best a man can get. and by Pepsi. Gotta have it.
We welcome you back to Columbia, South Carolina, where the LSU Tigers have beaten the Gamecocks 74-56, along with Larry Conley and head coach Dale Brown and the fine chancellor of Louisiana State University. We're happy to have you with us.
This is the game plan right here. The ex-head football coach, Bud Davis of Colorado, gave me the game plan.
Let's talk a little bit about moving Shaquille up top to make him more active, because he certainly liked the new offense.
Bill Walton told me one time he used to go in and visit with Coach Wooden and say, what are we going to do today? And here's what I think could help me. 2 days ago, I met with Shaquille in the coach's room, and Shaquille said, well, they're holding you, they're pushing you, they're grabbing you, what can we do? And he said, Coach, would you mind if we did this? He diagrammed to put him at the high post and run our pressure release, start him from there to throw everybody off. I said, Coach O'Neill, you have an excellent idea. And also, we thought that really helped a lot, as you and I talked about. And Paul Marshall's defense on JoJo English was out. JoJo English is an outstanding player. JoJo English can play in the NBA, I think. So it was, I think, our offensive moves, then I think switching defenses. We went straight man-to-man and 2-3 matchup.
And Dale, also, I thought tonight your defense was outstanding. Your guys really did a terrific job. South Carolina scored 21 points in the first half. You lined up toe-to-toe. No changes, no freak, just go after him.
No, we did, and we noticed we had Shaquille out there, and I know you two guys jumped when he intercepted that ball and went the whole way. So, and Shaquille's unselfish play. We did not know if Shaquille could play. We had to take him to the hospital last night in Charlotte, North Carolina. We couldn't get in. The guy's a winner.
Yeah,
and Sergeant and Lucille, if you're home, we love your son.
You know, you're great when you've got travel problems.
Yeah, we are.
Get on a bus and go back to Baton Rouge.
Thank you a lot, Larry and Tim.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Dale.
Dale's democracy in basketball. Use Shaquille O'Neal, and he'll deal down low. That was the key tonight. Our final score is 74-56. For Larry Conley, this is Tim Brando saying so long. You have been watching exclusive coverage of the SEC on JP Sports. So long from Columbia.